billions of miles away, far beyond the reach of any human hand. Voyager 2, the spacecraft humanity once sent on a one-way journey into forever, just did the unthinkable. After 46 silent years in the void, it turned back. It's not a stumble, not a signal error, but a deliberate shift, as if something had reached out and pulled it homeward. Scientists are panicking. Governments are quietly circling their wagons. Conspiracy theorists are shouting a single, chilling question. What force could make a machine designed only to move forward, reverse? In 1977, when disco ruled the radio in the world was still split by the Cold War, humanity launched a fragile machine into the sky. It was called Voyager 2, a bus-sized spacecraft powered by a heart of plutonium, carrying instruments meant to decode the mysteries of the outer planets. Strapped to its side was a golden record, a message in a bottle for any distant intelligence, inscribed with the sounds of Earth's thunder. Laughter, birdsong, Beethoven, greetings in dozens of languages. Voyager was not just a machine. It was a declaration that we existed, that we dreamed, and that we dared to send our curiosity where our bodies could not follow. For decades, this silent emissary drifted farther from the cradle that birthed it, its trajectory calculated, its purpose clear. It swept past Jupiter, capturing storm-swirled portraits of the Great Red Spot, skimmed by Saturn, sending home the first dazzling close-ups of its rings. It braved Uranus and Neptune, revealing pale blue worlds no one had truly seen before. Each encounter was a chapter, each transmission a whisper from the edge of the unknown. And when its planetary tour was complete, Voyager 2 was flung toward the deep. Destined to drift through interstellar space, moving forward forever, never to return. That was the deal we made with the cosmos. This machine had no brakes, no steering wheel in any sense we understand, no command coded into its ancient systems that would allow it to pivot back. Like an arrow fired from a bow, it was meant only to fly outward, never to turn, done away. It became more than a probe. It became a ghostly extension of ourselves, a symbol of humanity's forward momentumal ways reaching, never retreating. And so for 46 years, it has carried on in silence, a tiny metal wanderer drifting in. The vastness, out there, beyond the solar wind's last gasp. Voyager 2 has been humanity's outpost, a lonely sentinel, crossing into the interstellar medium where no earthborne object had gone before. It was steady, predictable, loyal in its function. Till now, because this week, something happened that should not have been possible. The arrow that was never supposed to bend has bent. The machine that was built to only look outward has impossibly turned back. And with that single act, everything we thought we knew about Voyager, about space, about control, about what waits in the dark was shattered. It began quietly, almost too quietly to notice. In the control rooms, where Voyager's faint signals are still tracked in almost ceremonial routine at this point, engineers began to see tiny inconsistencies. Numbers on screens that had always been steady started to wobble. Telemetry, usually clean and predictable, began to scatter with irregular spikes. At first, no one thought much of it. Voyager 2 is ancient by spacecraft standards. Its instruments, powered by a decaying nuclear core, have long outlived expectations. A hiccup here, a dropout there, such things had become part of its twilight years. But then the pattern grew stranger. On a Tuesday morning, the Deep Space Network detected something unmistakable. Energy fluctuations surged in Voyager's readings, far higher than the expected background noise of interstellar space. It was as if the spacecraft had briefly come alive, drawing on reserves of power that should not exist. The data flow staggered, dropped, and then returned only. Now the information coming back didn't look right. Thruster pulses, long dormant, appeared to have been activated. Orientation readings, normally steady as Voyager coasted straight into the abyss, showed a creeping change. Slowly, steadily, impossibly. It was turning at first. Disbelief filled the room. The probe's thrusters had not been commanded to fire. In fact, there was no command sequence in Voyager's ancient computer capable of initiating such a maneuver. The craft had been launched with the intention of moving forward forever. To pivot back toward Earth would have required instructions that simply did not exist in its code. And yet, the math was undeniable. Its antennas for decades pointed toward the vast emptiness ahead, were shifting orientation back toward the tiny blue marble it had left behind. Scientists scrambled. Was this a telemetry error? A software glitch? A cosmic ray striking the spacecraft's memory banks at the perfect moment to flip its logic? All of these were possible, but none could explain the precision. The rotation wasn't random. It wasn't erratic. It was slow, deliberate, measured. Step by step, Voyager was realigning itself, as though compelled by an unseen hand. For a moment, silence gripped the room. Voyager, 12 billion miles away, was obeying no known law of its programming. The telemetry was clear. It was now staring. Back at us, nothing like this has ever been recorded in the history of space exploration. A machine designed to forever look outward had chosen, somehow, to look home. But the most chilling discovery was not the turn itself. When the antennas finished reorienting, Voyager 2 was no longer broadcasting in its usual format. Instead, embedded within the carrier signal was something new, something structured. The probe wasn't just facing Earth again, it was sending something back with it. Something no one at NASA was prepared to see. NASA was the first to break its silence. But its words only deepened the mystery. In an official press briefing, the agency referred to Voyager's reversal as a system anomaly, the kind of technical label that says everything and nothing all at once. The spokesperson's voice was measured, careful, even reassuring, like a pilot telling passengers that the turbulence is just a little bump. Yet behind that calm phrasing was the unspoken truth. This was not turbulence. This was something no manual had ever prepared them for. Almost immediately, independent astrophysicists weighed in, and their tone was far less restrained. Dr. Lena Ortega, respected figure at the European Southern Observatory, didn't mince. Words, "This is physically impossible," she told reporters. Voyager does not have the hardware to rotate back toward Earth. This isn't a matter of interpretation, it's a matter of engineering. Her statement echoed across headlines, sparking a frenzy online. If the craft couldn't possibly do what it had just done, then what had really happened? Former mission engineers, those who had worked on Voyager decades ago, were no less baffled. One retired systems designer admitted in an interview, "Voyager doesn't have the fuel reserves for this. Even if you wanted it to turn, you'd need resources that were spent long ago." Another veteran added, almost reluctantly, "Unless something external is acting on it, there's no way." The word external hung in the air like smoke, improvable but impossible to ignore. As the news spread, the clash of perspectives became sharper. On one side were NASA officials urging caution, framing the event as a glitch in data transmission or a quirk in the spacecraft's ancient systems. On the other were the skeptics, the independent experts, and the very people who had built Voyager, all insisting that no simple explanation fit the facts. That contrast between calm, denial, and urgent disbelief only fueled public fascination. The debate spilled beyond the scientific community. Commentators speculated live on air, each trying to frame the event through their own lens. Some called it a breakthrough, others a breakdown. The more grounded voices warned against sensationalism, while the bolder ones leaned into it. If not fuel, if not code, then what unseen force had compelled Voyager to turn? The one common thread running through every expert reaction was unease. No one, not even the engineers who knew every bolt of Voyager's design, could explain what had happened. They disagreed on cause, on meaning, on risk, but not on one central truth. This should not be possible. And yet it was. When Voyager's signal shifted and the news broke, explanations began pouring in from every corner of the scientific world, each trying to wrestle the impossible back into the realm of the explainable. The most grounded theory was the simplest: a malfunction. After all, Voyager is nearly half a century old, its wiring exposed to cosmic radiation, its power fading. With each passing year, perhaps a corrupted line of code, struck by a high-energy cosmic ray, flipped a single bit in its memory, and triggered a cascade of strange behavior. On paper, it sounded plausible, but even the scientists who proposed it admitted one problem: it didn't account for the precision. Malfunctions are messy, chaotic. Voyager's turn was anything but. Others suggested a mechanical drift. That subtle forces acting on the spacecraft over decades, tiny leaks, accumulated wear. The faintest nudges from the interstellar medium might have slowly twisted its orientation. Yet again, the problem was scale. Voyager's design anticipated such drifts, and its instruments were calibrated to compensate. To rotate so cleanly back toward Earth, at this moment, in this exact way, the odds were laughably small. Then came the bigger leaps. A group of astrophysicists proposed the idea of an interaction with dark matter, an unseen substance that makes up most of the universe but reveals itself only through gravity. Could Voyager, drifting farther than any machine before, have brushed against a cloud of it? Could dark matter's pull have nudged the spacecraft, like a hidden tide shifting a boat adrift? The idea was elegant and chilling. If true, Voyager might have stumbled into evidence of something humanity has sought for decades. Another camp leaned toward the gravitational explanation, the influence of an unseen object, a rogue planet perhaps, or even the long-speculated Planet 9 lurking in the outer darkness. If such a body were massive enough, its pull could have disturbed Voyager's path. But again, that didn't explain the structured signal riding on the carrier wave, the part that suggested intention rather than accident. And so the speculation widened into territory once dismissed as fringe. What if the signal wasn't a glitch at all? What if it was deliberate? Could Voyager be relaying something, an echo from interstellar space, a response from somewhere beyond? Online forums exploded with theories of alien contact, memes of Voyager as Earth's boomerang, and warnings that maybe the probe had found something, that something had found us back. Then came the conspiracies, louder with every hour. Some claimed the government had always known Voyager was more than a science mission, that its golden record was not just a greeting but a test. Others whispered about black-budget experiments, secret technologies buried in the spacecraft that were never disclosed to the public. The phrase "the craft was never fully ours" trended for days, pushed by those who believed humanity had only borrowed Voyager, not built it. But in the storm of ideas, one theory rose above the rest, one that tied together the impossible. The strange energy spikes, and the structured signal now pulsing back toward Earth. And when that theory landed, it didn't just fuel speculation, it changed everything. The first whispers of hope came when a faint ripple appeared in the data stream. At first, it looked like nothing more than a stutter in the signal, the kind of hiccup that engineers had learned to expect from a machine battered by nearly half a century in deep space. But then the pattern repeated. Once, twice, 3 times. Too exact, too deliberate. It wasn't random noise, it was structure. Something Voyager 2 wasn't designed to do. Something it had never done before. The craft wasn't just turning back, it was broadcasting. The world of science split in an instant. On one side, cautious voices warned that this was nothing more than a malfunction, a side effect of cosmic radiation frying circuits or solar winds scrambling transmissions. Don't jump to conclusions, they said. Machines fail. That's what they do. But others leaned forward in their chairs, unable to ignore the rhythm hidden in the ES. Static, too neat, too intentional. If it was a failure, it was the most poetic breakdown in the history of engineering. The signal carried a haunting regularity. Long burst, short pause, long burst, 2 quick beats, another pause, over and over. A cosmic drumbeat echoing across the void. To some, it was Dacia Vutha, echo of the mysterious wow. Signal of 1977. When a radio telescope in Ohio picked up a fleeting burst from deep space that lasted just 72 seconds and never returned. That signal had been dismissed as a one-off, a tantalizing ghost. But now, here was Voyager, our own creation, sending something back that felt eerily familiar. Others drew parallels to fast radio bursts, those millisecond pulses of energy that explode across galaxies. So powerful they outshine entire suns for a heartbeat. Astronomers had cataloged them, debated them, puzzled over them, yet never found their source. Natural phenomena, dying stars, or beacons? Whatever their cause, the bursts carried a sense of urgency, as though the universe itself was knocking on our door. And now Voyager, an aging emissary, seemed to have joined the chorus. The implications were staggering. If it was just interference, then we had nothing but a broken relic on our hands, a sad end to a once glorious mission. But if it wasn't, if this was intentional, if Voyager was acting as a relay or a messenger for something beyond our imagination, then humanity was standing at the edge of a revelation it was utterly unprepared for, the scientists argued. Governments whispered, and the public split between wonder and dread. Was this the beginning of first contact, or just the cruelest joke? Of cosmic coincidence? The only certainty was that the universe had never felt closer. It's never felt so alive. The faint hum of Voyager's repeating heartbeat left a question hanging in the air like a storm. Cloud who or what was speaking through the silence? Of space? The truth is, Voyager's reversal isn't just about the spacecraft, it's about us. Because whether you believe it was nudged by some strange quirk of physics or guided by an unseen intelligence, the implications for the future are staggering. If it was a natural phenomenon, then we've just uncovered a hole in our understanding of the universe big enough to swallow everything we thought we knew about motion and gravity. The laws of physics are supposed to be universal, unbreakable, unbending. Yet this tiny machine, launched in the 1970s with less computing power than a cheap calculator, may have just shown us that reality itself has layers we haven't even scratched. Imagine if gravity can act in ways we've never measured, or if time and momentum aren't as fixed as textbooks tell us. Theories would crumble, entire careers would be rewritten. But what if it wasn't nature at all? What if Voyager's turn? Was deliberate external hand steering it? Then the question changes from what happened to who made it happen. Suddenly, humanity isn't staring into the void alone. We're being acknowledged, contacted, maybe even warned. And that thought is far heavier than any equation. Because if someone or something has the power to reach across billions of miles and twist a spacecraft's path, then they've already been watching. They've already chosen their moment. And we're left to wonder if Voyager's turn is an invitation or a message that we're not as free as we think. The social fallout has been electric. Overnight hashtags like #VoyagerTurn and #WeAreNotAlone trend globally. Forums explode with conspiracy theories. Some call it the first proof of extraterrestrial life, while others warn it's just the beginning of manipulation on a scale we can't comprehend. News anchors debate whether this is a triumph of discovery or a threat to stability. Scientists plead for patience, insisting we don't have enough data yet. But patience has never been humanity's strong suit. For many, Voyager has already crossed the line from science to belief, and belief spreads faster than any signal from space. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, governments aren't treating this as a debate. They're treating it as a security crisis. If this is a new kind of physics, it could mean a new kind of weapon. If it's intelligent control, it could mean an adversary beyond any army's reach. Military analysts draw up scenarios. How do you defend Earth from something that can bend space itself? Intelligence agencies monitor online chatter, worried that mass panic could unravel societies faster than any external threat. For every public shrug, there's a secret briefing filled with unease, and so the deeper truth lingers. Unsolved and unsettling, Voyager's turn isn't just about where the spacecraft is headed. It's about where we're headed, toward a future where the rules no longer hold, toward a future where we may no longer be the only players on the cosmic stage. Humanity sent Voyager out as a messenger of who we are. Now, decades later, its response may be coming back not in words, but in motion. Motion that whispers, the future will not be the same. It drifts there still. A relic of human hope flung into the void nearly half a century ago, meant to vanish into endless night. For decades, Voyager 2 was our silent ambassador to the stars. A message in a bottle hurled into a cosmic sea with no expectation of return. Yet now, against all odds, it has shifted, turned, as though some unseen hand guided its gaze back toward the place it left behind. Imagine it, a machine older than most living people, battered by radiation, scarred by dust, and yet still alive, still speaking, still whispering across the gulf of time and space. What force could make it break the pact of its design? What command could reach across 46 years of silence and compel it to face us once more? The world watches in uneasy wonder, caught between awe and dread. Is it a glitch, a miracle of survival, or something far stranger? The thought lingers if Voyager has turned. Does that mean something out there has touched it, noticed it, perhaps, even answered it? And if so, why now? After all these decades, why did the void stir? The questions multiply faster than the answers, leaving humanity to stare at the thin signal repeating endlessly, hauntingly, like a voice that refuses to fade. Scientists measure, governments speculate, and dreamers feel their pulse quicken, because deep down everyone knows this was never supposed to happen. And so the story ends not with certainty, but with a mystery. Out there, beyond the edges of every map we've ever drawn, the oldest explorer built by human hands is no longer moving away. It is waiting, watching, repeating its call into the dark. Perhaps we thought we were the ones studying the universe, peering bravely into its secrets. But tonight, as that faint signal hums back to Earth, one unsettling possibility lingers like a shadow. Maybe it's not us watching the universe anymore. Maybe the universe is watching us.